Time for Dart Talk. Brought to you by thedartzone.com. Stay in the zone. Thedartzone.com is an official Cosmo distributor and Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics. And Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts. And now, here are your hosts, Mystery Mark and Steve P.
Oh, dear. Oh, my. Welcome to Dart Talk. We're here. We're live.
We are live.
We are live from beautiful Wrigley Field. 100 years old today.
Yes.
Steve
You
Panunzialman.
don't catch me here often, but I'm at Wrigley, apparently.
Steve Panunzialman with Mystery Mark. Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks. Windy City Fabricators, Redwood Darts. Heck of a show.
Yes.
That we have lined up.
We got something planned.
Sorry for the
never
delay.
been done before.
It's a new record. It's a new record. We have five. Is it five? Five live guests.
Well, depending.
From at least 3 different states.
Yeah.
I mean, states of mind I'm not going to speculate on.
Apparently can't be quiet for a minute either, by the way.
Yeah, and then, our guests need to mute the show and actually not even watch the show because they're going to get confused because there's a lag. So they're going to be hearing echoes and stuff. So our guests need to not do that. It made for an interesting opening, like a little echo and stuff like that.
A little echo going. So.
Anyway, before anyone speaks, disclaim any and all things.
We must.
Yes.
The views, opinions, rants, and rampages expressed on Dart Talk do not necessarily reflect individually or collectively those of our sponsors, co-sponsors, wannabe hosts, hearing-impaired critics, or those with a penchant for attitudinal dysfunction. We at Dart Talk strive to provide you, the listener, with an educational, entertaining, and fun-filled experience each and every week. If after the show you, the listener, find yourself feeling uneducated, unentertained, and or bored, we at Dart Talk consider that your own problem.
Okay, we disclaim any and all things, and
and anything our guests say.
Well, we have a heck of a show. We have some of the most fascinating women involved in American darts today,
yes.
And we'll bring them on shortly. We'll make them wait and see if we hear them giggle like they were doing during the opening. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
How was your weekend?
Anything was just fine.
Going
Nothing
on?
Exciting. I played golf. First round of the year. So.
Oh, that's right. You told me about that.
Yeah.
Well. We won't mention the score, but it was fun, right?
But it was fun. It was a nice day out, and it was great. So,
yeah, I went to the 100th
today.
Yeah, beautiful.
The 100th anniversary.
The 100th anniversary of play ball in Wrigley Field.
Right.
And they gave us jerseys. So this is my Chicago Feds jersey,
which was
the Cubs actually didn't play in Wrigley Field at the beginning.
No,
they came like 2 years later. So it was the Whales played in Weedman Park before it was Wrigley Field. And by the way,
Weedman Park, you're right.
Because the love of my life doesn't always check her text messaging, the scoreboard that you see in the background there was erected in 1937.
Okay.
Just so anybody cares. Be a good trivia question for everybody.
Right.
So from the Wapatula
so it was a
League,
big party.
Well, yeah, it was cool. I mean, they let loose 3,000 balloons. In the middle of the 5th inning. That was pretty cool. We all sang happy birthday. They trotted out, all the stars of the past, including Dick Butkus and Gail Sayers.
Oh, nice.
Those guys came out first because the Bears used to play
at
Wrigley,
right?
So I never saw a game there, but I think it was kind of cool. The highlights are cool when they played in Wrigley. So it was kind of people are like, oh, you should tear it down. It's 100 years old. I mean, Fenway's 102.
Yeah, but they remodeled it. But that's why they're trying to get $500 million.
I hear it's kind of ridiculous with the locker rooms and people ducking and sweating and all that.
Well, yeah, it's really a pit.
Well, it was a really fun time until the 9th inning.
It might be historic, but the actual stadium is a pit.
And this is the question, that we have addressed as far as some things like the ADO and stuff like that. At some point, is tradition too more trouble than it's worth?
Right.
right? This park, though, and the charm and everything, you can't replace it.
No,
I mean, it's like they may as well move to Rosemont.
They won't tear it down. I mean, obviously they can't. It's a historical landmark.
Not that it's a baseball show, although I am wearing my. This is what I went to the game in. Right?
You got your
they
Cubs
gave us
socks
a jersey, and no, I don't have any of that stuff.
You got blue socks with your sandals?
No. I'm wearing shoes. I'm not doing the whole flip-flop with my bare socks and stuff. Anyway, okay, so let's get to the show. I'm sorry we're late.
What show? Oh, we got a show?
Oh. Yeah, darts, remember?
Let's do something about
things.
that.
And you're going to start playing in League. I saw one of your compadres today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we're walking to the concession
Who'd you
stand. Pizza Terra and Alvin Elton were at the game. They weren't there long. Next time I looked, they were gone. I mean, it was a little chilly up there.
So you saw. So Mr. Cetera explained to you that I was going to play.
He explained nothing. He said he was sitting in that section, and we're like, "Well, we're in that section. We'll see you later." And we went to get hot dogs, and they went to sit down with their nachos, and it was a beautiful thing.
All right.
So, anyway, we have guests.
We're
a record. 5, right? We
5.
have. Now, I will introduce you one at a time with just your first names, ladies, and then you fill us in on who you are and where you're from. Okay? Are we all there?
Yes.
All right, let's start out with should we start out with the show veteran or the show rookie?
I'd say the veteran.
The show veteran.
Suck it in.
We have Paula Bushey is with us. She is the tournament director, second year in a row, I think, for the Virginia Beach Classic. Are you with us, Paula?
I'm here, and I thought I was going to do that, Steve.
Well, go ahead.
No, it was. Never mind. I was just joking.
Okay, how you doing, Paula?
I'm doing fine as long as my phone stays going.
Okay, well let's try to keep that going
hope.
there. Also with us from Massachusetts is Vicki Briggs.
Hi guys.
How you doing?
Vicki.
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Do you prefer Victoria or Vicki?
No, Vicky's fine.
Vicky's fine. Okay, and what's the L for?
No, you don't get that.
I don't get that. See, even on a live show, some people won't fall for it. Now, from Pennsylvania, we have, let's start with Lauren.
Hi. I shoot for Old English Dart League. I'm in Philly.
Okay, and what's your last name, Lauren?
It's Waikal, W-A-K-A-L.
All right, so Lauren Waikal from I'm sorry, was it Quaker City Dart League?
I'm in Old English.
The Old English Dart League.
Old English.
So that's the QED. CL?
Quaker City, Kay, and possibly Gail are in Quaker City.
Okay.
I personally just shoot for Old English right now.
For Old English, okay. And then we also have, it's your turn, Gail and Kay.
Hi, I'm Gail Flaherty. I'm president of the Women of Philadelphia English Dart League out of Philadelphia here. I also am a member of Quaker City English Dart League, which shoots on Thursday night. Women's League shoots on Monday night here out of Philadelphia. We're going into our 40th year next year.
Wow.
And I'm Kay Brookes. I'm on the board of directors of Quaker City English Dart League, and I also shoot on Quaker City.
Okay, well, ladies, welcome to the show. Some people have been after us for some time to devote more time and kind of more attention to women's darts. So you're here to do just that. And then before the show, I asked a couple of you to, give us some of the, the main issues that affect women's darts and, women's darts, primarily. So we'll do that. We'll go kind of once around the table. We're going to try to take a little break every 15 minutes. It won't be very long. And we try to keep the show at an hour, but we're not really all that strict.
Right.
Are we?
No.
We're not.
Not at all.
The reason that we have a time limit, because I think Gordon Dixon was kind of ripping me, and he said it was an artificial limit. It's hard to deal with the video files when they get really, really big. So an hour seems to be okay. The things that, like we did...
He was ripping on you for what? Saying you should just talk for as long as you feel like?
No, here's what he says. He says that I didn't engage Elliot Milk in a debate over what takes more skill, 501 or cricket, because of some artificial time limit that we impose.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, yeah. That's your deal.
Because he was on Elliot Milk's side, that's why.
Well, I mean, so they're both wrong. What do I care? I mean, I'm not going to... It's fine. Right. I mean, everybody can have an opinion, and if we have time, maybe we'll engage the women and ask their opinion on this. I'm not going to, I mean, it's not going to be much of a debate. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm not really in a big hurry to do it, but if he wants to do it, I mean, that's fine. Nobody else will come on, so... All right, first things first. What is the biggest issue or the biggest problem facing women's darts in America today? Let's start with Kay.
The biggest problem, I think, right now is that people don't really understand that women are good dart shooters. And they can beat, some of the men or most of the men out there.
Okay. Gail, you agree with that? Is that the number one problem with women's darts?
I agree with Kay. Nationally, that's probably the biggest issue besides payouts at tournaments. Locally here, participation is a more bigger problem that we're dealing with here in our local area. Just getting women to come out and participate, and within the last, and I know darts in general have been declining within the last dozen years or whatnot, but it seems women darts have dwindled twice as fast as the men's darts.
Okay, it sounds to me, Gail, that you're saying participation is the number one issue.
Yeah, to me and to my area here in Philadelphia, yeah, that's an issue that we have here.
Okay, so we got two so far. We have, what is it, respect? Is that a fair way to characterize, Kay? Is you're saying it's a respect issue?
I don't know that it's a respect issue. I just don't think that people understand that the women are as talented as the men and that they can compete in the men's league.
Okay.
And they're just as devoted to the sport as the men are.
Okay. I don't know how would you characterize that, Mark? If it's not respect, is it exposure? Is it notoriety? Is it?
It'd be more. Yeah, it'd be exposure. Well, I mean, I guess if your participation's down, then it's hard. That's less people to show that they can actually play the game. I mean, it would kind of coincide a little bit, but I guess it would just be,
All right. Okay. I think we understand what the issue is. I'm just trying to put like a little headline on it.
Right.
And it's kind of off the top of my head. Nothing's ringing true. Let's go to Lauren. Oh, whoops. Who did I cut off there?
Kay.
Okay. Go ahead, Kay.
I was going to say probably in Philadelphia, it's just a matter of, getting it out there to the younger girls that are coming out that, the advertising and the promotion of
promoting women's darts.
Well, yeah, I was thinking it may be more what she's talking about is exposure.
Yeah.
Right.
In a good way.
Yes.
I mean, most men are for exposure, but I'm just saying.
Right.
Okay. Lauren, Lauren, are you with us so far? What's the biggest issue with women's darts today?
I feel like what we're talking about is leading into bigger topics of just like what is the appeal of darts and what's going to appeal to a base of people to play darts. I feel like having a women's league and having some women even like going out and playing darts is a great thing. So I don't really know what the biggest issue working against them other than trying to tap into a male-dominated sport. And then, to me, the question is, like, what does it boil down to in terms of the sport itself being appealing and what people's individual interests are?
Okay.
Because, like, I love the game, and there is a social aspect to it. So, to me, it's what is appealing to women to play darts.
What do women find most appealing about darts? That's an interesting question.
It is an
okay,
interesting
we can
question.
come back to that.
Right.
Great. Okay. Paula or Vicki, what's the biggest issue facing women's darts?
Go ahead, Vicki. I'll go last.
I knew it. See, I knew they were
okay.
going to talk
Thanks,
at once. But, okay.
Well, you gave them the opportunity.
I know. I did it on purpose. I totally set them up. I'm evil. Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to piggyback on the participation part. I know one of our local leagues used to have a women's division, and that slowly declined, and now it's no longer. I think we have to attract more women, and I think one of the ways is the payouts at the tournaments.
Okay, so the women's tournament payouts are
We've
far
definitely
lower
discussed
than the
that
men's,
before.
right? Okay. And then, okay, we leave Paula for last then. Paula, give us the top issue facing women's darts in your mind. Paula, please have a phone that's not dead.
I'll say, like everyone has said, so it's not dead. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Paula. Go ahead.
Steve, can you hear me?
Yes. I can hear you, yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Participation, like everybody said, is the biggest thing. I don't think payouts are as big of an issue anymore. I think the VBDC proved that this year. We had some great payouts. We had the women. And I think with the women's pro cricket shoot this year, it proved that we can get a high caliber of women, a lot of them out to play.
Okay. So what's the number one issue facing, women's darts in your mind then?
I like the respect issue you were talking about because a lot of times, at least down here in TADA, we have a team that's all girls and one guy, and we're in first division. But we're the only women in first division. There are no others. And it's hard to get the respect. We're not in last place. We play the big boys, but it's still hard to get the respect of the guys.
Interesting. Okay, where are we on time?
So real quick, here's somebody from the chat, and I don't know if this is going to be, it's the typical male chauvinist question.
Oh, great.
Basically, you said that women are good shooters and they beat the men most of the time, and then the question basically is, then why would you want your own division? And I think he means like league. If you know what I mean.
Well, people play for different reasons. Where are we on time? Are we up on the first break? Because this is a good place. Okay, Here's what we'll do, ladies. We're going to take a real quick break. You don't want to be talking during it because that will actually go out live. But when we come back from our first break, we will start going through these one by one. And everybody take a turn, and we'll see if we can't solve all the problems of the world in like 45 minutes. I think we can do it. I think we have the pieces.
Try.
I'll use some cub lingo. The pieces are in place. But okay, you're listening to Dart Talk with Mystery Mark, Steve, a slew of guests, and we'll be back in a minute.
Are those of the hosts. They in no way should be misrepresented, misinterpreted, or made to claim that the universe is against you, your family, your city, or the darting community at large.
Thank you, Jeff. Second quarter of Dart Talk brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, Windy City Fabricators, Redwood Darts, and Cosmo just released their new cases. I got a picture of it. I didn't have time to get it on. I don't know if I'll be able to work it in this show, but they're pretty cool looking. Very unique. So we'll give you guys pictures of that at some point. With us, we have Kay, Gail, Lauren,
Hello.
Vicki, and Paula, all with us.
And bless you to one of you.
And yeah, thank you all for coming on the show. We appreciate your patience. I know we started late. I want to start actually talking about respect.
Respect, yes.
I do talk to a lot of women darters, and I do get around some, not as much as I used to. And it seems to me that is the the one thing that I have heard from every single woman player I've ever talked to at length is the eye roll that guys give at a blind draw when they hear a woman's name after theirs.
Right.
And I have actually a Kelly Gallagher story. I know some of you guys know Kelly.
Yeah.
Right?
She's awesome.
Kelly's a very solid shot. And Kelly's been playing for a long time. So here's my Kelly Gallagher story. I had been playing about a year and a half, I think, maybe 2. And I was coming up, through the ranks, I think I was I'd already won nickel and I was on my way to tungsten, something like that. I go to the local blind draw at Dyesden. I hear Kelly Gallagher and I roll my eyes, right? Fine, no problem. So she saw me. She was sitting at the bar and she kind of saw me roll my eyes. So whatever. So they call us to the board. We get there. Other team diddles. I go right to the line, throw a double bull, grab my darts, and walk back to her. And she's just standing there and she's like, all right. I'm like, well, should we, pick 301 or something? She's like, first, we're going to have to get a few things straight. and I'm just like, okay. She's like, number one, I didn't really appreciate the eye roll you gave when you heard my name. I've been playing darts for 10 years. I may not hit everything I aim at, but I don't stink, and I know exactly what I'm doing. So I don't know how long you've been around, but, I didn't appreciate that. And I'm just like, well, I didn't really mean anything by it. She's like, yeah. And here's the other thing. You ask your partner if they want to diddle.
Exactly.
You don't just assume because I'm a girl that you're diddling.
Right.
And I'm like, did you want to diddle? She's like, no, that's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is you're supposed to ask me, because I'm your partner. We're in this together.
Which she's right.
And then she's like, go ahead and start. And I'm like, okay. And I think I got like a 149 in.
Did you ask her? Did you just
I
pick the game? Did you pick the game, or did you ask her what you were playing?
No, let me tell you something. I to this day always tell this story with admiration for Kelly because Kelly's kind of laid back and stuff, but Kelly's tired of taking crap from people just because she's a girl, and I think that she's not here to say I'm wrong, so I guess I can kind of speak to her state of mind, but I think that it was like kind of like enough's enough. You may think you're like the rock star of darts, but hey, I'm your partner.
Yeah.
We're teammates. I'm not just some chick that, unfortunately, you got paired with.
Yeah,
and I think that's a very common. I've seen this all the time, and I will not speak for all men, but I will say that a lot of guys think that women can't play.
Well, and the other thing, too, is going into it, it's a blind draw, too. I mean, you could get anybody picked. You should be going there, and you have to accept who you're picked with and move on instead of, just give up then. I mean, why even play?
Hey, I'll tell you my other story, and then we'll get the women involved here. I'll tell you my other story was there was a woman that used to play around named Jennifer Daggy, who I have not seen in years. But I was at some little tournament in Cedar Rapids, and it was in between events, and I was just kind of throwing darts at the board, just trying to stay loose. And she's like, hey, you want to play a game of cricket? I'm like, sure. I go like 7 count, 7 count, 7 count, threw a couple of bulls, and I just kind of pulled my darts and went back. She's like, oh, that was good. Let's try again. I'm like, okay. I threw like 320. She goes like trip 20, trip 19, trip 18. I'm like, jeez, right? I throw 317. She's like single 7, trip 7. I'm like, yeah. Threw like 516. She goes trip 6, bull. I'm like, smoke me. So that's the last time I took anyone for granted.
Yeah.
As far as like, because I admit that I was like, oh, this girl wants to play. Okay, fine. And, as it turned out, I think that year she ended up like top 4 in like 80 points list for women. So I learned my lesson, and I've said this to Jill. I don't know if she's listening or in the chat room, that, women have to earn respect. And I say this to Jill because she gives me the whole eye roll, this guy, la-di-da at the draw. And I'm like, all you got to do is go up there and throw 3 solid darts right off the bat, and you're cured.
Yeah.
Right? You earn respect as a player by playing well.
True.
right?
Right.
So let's go around the board. We'll start with Paula first, since she was last time. Paula, let's talk respect here. What do you got to say?
Well, I agree with everything that you were saying. When it comes to
that's why we
respect,
like around
I
the
know,
show.
like I was saying it.
Sorry, just a little aside there, Paula. Go ahead.
Not a problem. Of course you like me on the show.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, in our league, we have a team. We've got 5 girls and 1 guy. We do have 1 token guy on the team.
Does he wear a shirt with a T on it?
It happens to be my husband. No. But our team name is Stacked. But we're the only women in Division 1.
Okay.
In more ways than one. We call ourselves Stacked.
We like that.
But, it took us several years to get up to Division 1. And we're there now. We might not always win. We're playing some of the top shooters in Virginia Beach. But we always give them a good game. The scores don't always reflect it. But now they know not just to come and lay down every time they try to shoot against us.
Okay, so do you feel like it took you, a few seasons, but you earned everyone's respect, and you're now being treated equally? Is that what I'm getting from this?
I wouldn't say equal, because you guys will still look down on us. There's no doubt about it.
Well, now, okay, in defense of all malehood, when you say they're looking down on you, they're not looking. Are they looking down on you because you're women, or because they feel they're just superior players?
It could be both.
Because to be honest, I've been on teams where guys were kind of looking down on us, kind of deliberately, like it was a mind game or something. I mean, it's not always just because you're women.
Right.
I mean, it could be. So you're a little unsure on that one, though.
Well, I mean, just like you were saying with the Lux of the Draw, I've been playing for 15 years now. I earned my stripes when, I was one of the top in the country back when I played a lot more. But to this day, I'll still get the eye rolls just like Kelly did. So it all depends.
It all depends. Okay. Vicki Briggs, what do you think about all this? You should have an interesting take on this. You come from like a family of players, right?
Yes, we all play. And first of all, I'd like to say kudos to Kelly for setting it straight with you, because I've been in her shoes. Sometimes even today I get the eye rolls, or they'll diddle for cork and not ask me, etc. Now, when you say respect, just play well, your first 3 darts, you hit triple this, triple that. Well, not everybody is solid the first time out, so if they don't play well, I think they still deserve respect. And I think it's, their professionalism and their willingness to learn the game should go a long way and earn respect.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Totally
I mean, if you're talking about your local blind draw and stuff like that, not everyone's a professional. I mean, I've seen guys with attitude toward people that I just don't know where it comes from. It's not coming from their dart game. I mean, I don't see them playing anywhere near as well as a lot of the other people in the room. But, so I mean, there are people that are just kind of like that. So you got to separate that from like the kind of chauvinistic thread or whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, there seems to be like all the women seem to agree that this happens.
Well, yeah.
So as guys, we're probably all sort of guilty of this. But
absolutely, at one
sometimes
point or another, for sure.
Like I don't know that Stacey Bromberg goes through this. I mean, she beat Larry Butler at a PDC thing.
I bet she did early.
Well, I wonder how long that lasted.
I was thinking about that too, Steve. I think if a guy, got drawn with one of the top shooters like a Callie West or Robin Curry or something like that, they're not going to roll their eyes. I think if it's when they're paired with somebody who isn't as well known, they're going to have that reaction, and it's too bad, because I know a lot of local women shooters that don't go to the big tournaments, but they're great, and anybody would want to shoot with them.
Right, like solid players that hold up their end and stuff like that. Yeah, sure. I can't remember the order. I think Lauren's next. Lauren, what do you think about all this?
I think Paula and Vicki really hit the nail on the head, and I also think that along the lines of what you were saying, like there is the value put on being anonymous versus being a woman, and if you're anonymous and people don't know that you can shoot, they're going to question your abilities until you prove yourself on the board. But I also feel like women are automatically, without having that established record of Stacey Bromberg or Callie West or the other top shooters, there are going to be eye rolls still. The one thing I want to say is that the great thing about darts is that it's a level playing field. Women don't stand closer to the board, and it's just a level playing field. So it is about how many points you can hit. But I think Paula and Vicki really nailed it.
I like her point though, but it's like if you get my name called in a blind draw,
I roll my eyes.
Well, no, not knowing. Say you don't know who I am, just somebody's name. You're going to be like,
"Who's that guy?"
Oh, I hope he can shoot.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope he's good.
Right.
I hope he's not like it's his first time and he borrowed darts from the bartender.
You get called for the woman's name gets called, and it's like it's not even can I hope he can shoot is the first thought. She can shoot, I should say. It's oh crap, it's a woman. Then you're like, well, I hope she can shoot.
Okay, well let's.
I think that's the stigma.
Okay, let's.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
I feel like I definitely dealt more with metaphorical eye rolls when I started as a girl, but having gone to more events in Philly and people know who I am, it's my gender I don't think has even played a part anymore in the situation.
Exposure definitely helps.
Well, here, let me run this. Let me ask this of Kay and Gail. Okay, I was in Virginia Beach a couple of weeks ago. Fantastic tournament, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then I had I played in the draw. I don't remember what night. It must have been Friday night. And I heard a woman's name, and I didn't recognize the name. And I was just kind of like, And okay, I'm going to be completely and 100% honest here, because as it turned out, I did kind of know the girl I was playing with. I'd met her. And I was happy with the way she played. But to be honest with you, you hear like Tom Sawyer and Paul Bolduc are called together. You hear like Stacey Bromberg and Gordon Dixon. You hear all these good teams, and then you hear your name and a girl you don't know. And my first attitude, the first thought in my head was, it's going to be hard to win this.
Mm-hmm.
Is that being chauvinistic, Gail or Kay, do you think? Or is that fair?
No, I think it's fair in what you're saying in a general sense that you don't know who this woman is.
Right.
I don't think that's chauvinistic. I mean, I don't think you said, oh my God, that's, so-and-so. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, if it would have been Ray Charles, I would have had the identical reaction. I would have been, it's going to be hard to win.
Could it just be, because you heard Gordon Dix's name and you didn't?
Well, no, I think, and again, I've been playing long enough and I've gotten around enough where I kind of know most of the players that travel, and I kind of know who's who.
You know what teams are going to be good.
So from my perspective, what you're really doing is you're listening for a name you know.
Yeah.
Like if I was paired with Kelly Gallagher or Vicki Briggs, I would know what to expect because I've seen them play. I haven't seen Paula really play because she's always running the tournament, and I don't believe I've seen Kay or Gail play. So I'd be kind of like, I don't know.
You have not. Wouldn't you have had that same reaction if you got called against Johnny Kay?
Called against him?
Yes. Wouldn't you be like, oh my God, I'm going to lose, or
to Johnny Kay? Well, he has beaten me once. Now that I think of it, but we were splitting.
Are you talking about just?
No, that's a cheap shot. That's my way of saying hi to Johnny if he's listening. Yeah, I don't really have that kind of attitude, but I know what you're asking, and it's hard.
It's not a gender thing there.
Sorry?
It's not a gender thing there. It's a status quo.
No, I mean it really comes down to, for me, I think I'm pretty good with this stuff. I mean, it's more a matter of like if it's a name that is familiar that I know, then I'm kind of like, oh, good, I've got somebody I know can play. And if it's somebody I don't know, then it's like, well, I hope this works out.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. It wouldn't matter whether it's a guy or a girl if you knew their capacity of their dart shoot.
But as far as
that's what my point was, though. It's like that's the way it should be. Whereas, but when it's also a girl's name, a woman's name, it tends to be that's where the eye roll comes in. Instead of it's just being some guy you've never heard of, when it's some woman that you've never heard of, or even then that's when the eye roll comes in because you don't eye roll just for some guy that you've never heard of.
Yeah. So Gail and Kay, let me ask you this: if every woman kind of took the approach that Kelly Gallagher did, would women's darts be like way better off in a year or two?
I think so. I think, and again, I can't really speak for the bigger tournament shoots because I'm not a big attender at those. But locally, like I said, if you get drawn with a woman, and just like you said at the very beginning, if the woman pounds on the board, then there's your respect. And I guess that works the other way too. If you draw somebody you don't know and they pound on the board, then it can work both ways. For women locally here, we get the respect from the men, but only after we've been around for a while, it seems.
Okay. I don't think that that's gender specific. I think that it's the same way with people that start playing the diddle tour regularly.
Yeah.
It's like they don't get respect from the Darren Youngs and the Soldier Gates and stuff until they've proven that they can, advance and, win some matches and stuff. And then, you start getting noticed. If you start winning, you get noticed faster.
Sure.
But I think the first year that you play the diddle tour, I mean, it's pretty easy to fly under the radar unless you're winning everything, right?
So absolutely.
The respect thing, as individuals, hopefully, you're not getting like personally disrespected because you're women. That would be inexcusable. And people are people. I mean, not everyone's going to be as perfect as me, but
how did I know that was coming?
Well, because it's a running gag. But that would be unfortunate because
right.
I think that when you start talking about getting women greater participation and stuff like that, the way guys treat women at blind draws and in local league
has a big effect.
Well, yeah, I think that could be a big turnoff the way people are getting treated. We're going to take another break. Everybody stay with us. It'll be a short break. You're listening to Dart Talk with Steve Ponciello and Mystery Mark, and we will be right back.
To the Geneva Convention and treating fairly its prisoners in their war against lackluster darting administration and behaviour.
Okay, back for the second half of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators, Redwood Darts, and our lovely lady guests. Let's see, Lauren, Kay, Gail, Vicki, and Paula.
Yep.
We were wrapping up the respect issue. Anything from the chat room there?
There's a nice I guess you would call it a quote.
Okay.
Jill.
Quote away.
Jill's got a good statement, I guess I would say.
Oh, state away.
Which pretty much sums it up. An unknown woman still has the greater burden to prove herself than an unknown man.
You buy that?
I agree.
How many women there agree there?
All of us.
I agree.
I agree with it.
Yep.
Anyone disagree?
Me too.
Okay. Well, I don't know if it's a gender issue. I mean, that is actually a very pithy, well-thought-out quote. I don't know that I buy it. I think that an unknown guy is trying to prove that he's a player just as much as an unknown woman. I think what the sad truth, though, is that if you're an unknown woman, there's an assumption there that you're no good.
Sure.
Whereas if you're an unknown guy, you kind of get the benefit of the doubt until you prove you're no good.
That's right, but that would be
Right.
the greater burden.
Okay.
That's a second obstacle that you have to overcome.
Okay.
Because-
So, yeah, I think women are generally, they're judged harsher.
Yeah. Sure.
You know, when it comes to being players. And I don't know where that comes from. I don't know. You tell me. I mean.
And we would like to say hi to Kelly G in the chat, too.
and hi to Kelly in the chat room. Hopefully we haven't said anything objectionable, because I'm sure I'll hear about it. No, I haven't seen Kelly in a while. I missed the Ray Chesney this year. That's too bad. I like seeing her. Okay, so the second issue, well, ladies, anybody else want to weigh in on the respect thing before we move on?
Can I say something? This is Lauren.
Yeah, Lauren, go ahead.
I just want to say, like, we are talking about the metaphorical rolling of the eyes, but I also want to say that for every one guy that's made a rude comment or made a bad assumption, I've had 10 guys who don't even bat an eye at my gender and have been completely supportive of just my passion for darts.
Cool. All right. Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Any of you other ladies want to weigh in on the respect thing before we move on?
No, we're good.
You good? Okay.
No, all set.
Okay, great. The second thing. Okay. The second thing.
Lack of membership.
Lack of membership, participation, kind of growth things.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start where? In the middle?
Sure.
Anybody want to go first?
Don't all speak at once.
This is Lauren.
Go ahead, Lauren.
So the others have more experience running events. I can just speak to personal experience in terms of promoting darts because I've run social media for the Old English Dart League. You can find us on Facebook. But I just know that when I go out and I see a woman in league playing darts, I just talk to them about their interest in darts, what they want to accomplish in darts, and promote the Miss Philly tournament, which is this long-standing, awesome tournament in the city of Philadelphia. I can't speak to the numbers, but I do know that I see women out there and try to promote darts and get them out.
What do you say to them, like, when their answer is, I don't know, I'm just here to have some fun?
They don't usually say that. I haven't really encountered that because they're on a league. I usually see them on a league team on league nights, and if they're that committed to a team, it's just about exposing them to the next level. And the next level to me is tournaments.
Right.
Yeah, that's what got me hooked. Tournaments are what got me hooked at darts, not league darts.
Yeah.
So that was Lauren. Kay, what do you think about all that?
Well, I think that the women, the up and coming women, are probably the bigger problem. You know, we as the standing shooters of this league, we are comfortable with where we are. We've already fought the fight. It's a difficult thing, especially in a city like Philadelphia where it's so big, and you know people have problems getting around. You know, people, you know, the drinking and driving, the distance between, you know, possibly point A to point B, and the tournaments. You know, we don't get that much of the new generation to come out for the tournaments because possibly they're still afraid to shoot in such a tournament. I mean, I didn't shoot in tournaments for years because I thought it was just out of my league.
Interesting. Okay, what do you think about that, Gail?
I agree with what Kay's saying.
Not because you're just sitting next to her, but that you actually agree.
And I am in her house too, so
Oh,
I don't
well.
want to get kicked out.
Okay.
That has something to do with it.
Participation-wise, for women dart shooters here in the Philadelphia area has declined, within the last dozen years. The men also have declined. Also, I was involved in Quaker City as well as Wapadell, so I'm familiar with the numbers, and both leagues have declined. I mean, Quaker City's still thriving, but we're probably in the late 70s, we were 250, 260 women on a Monday night, and now we're down to like 64 women on a Monday night. And I don't really know the main reason for that. I blame it a lot on the price of alcohol. I blame a lot on women all join the workforce, so they have to get up the next day early. I blame a lot on women want to go out and shoot darts on a Tuesday or a Thursday night with their significant other. But we're trying our best to promote women, to bring them back in, not so much even on Monday night, but even on Tuesday and Thursday night in Quaker City and in Old English.
Okay, there's one point there I want to get back to, but let's hear from Paula and Vicki on this first. Vicki, on the participation issue, do you want to weigh in?
Sure. Just what Kay said, for those who have fought the fight or, have been around our, pretty decent shots, I think we need to encourage the newcomers, congratulate them on their good shots and stuff. And I think at the tournament level, it might be a money issue where, if you travel, you have your hotel expenses, your entry fees and stuff. I think at the local level, I think the leagues need to, hold qualifiers and, to help pay for regional events and for tournament fees.
Okay, I think that would be helpful. Paula, you have kind of a bird's eye view, I think, a little bit, when it comes to women's participation. You tried something new this year. You did the women's pro cricket shoot at Virginia Beach, which, from everything I can see, was a smashing success. But I remember talking to you before the tournament, and you were worried whether or not you'd get the participation that you required.
That's true, and that's what I was going to bring up. Not because, I started putting it out there on Facebook probably in September of last year about trying the inaugural pro cricket shoot. And Vicki was one of the biggest proponents of it, as well as Pam, her sister, and a lot of the big names. I was still a little nervous because I know in the first years of the men's pro cricket shoot, we were treading water. So starting this year with a $2,500 payout for women, which is usually unheard of in a women's, in one women's event, I was nervous, but I was overwhelmed by the participation. And the great thing too was I just happened to pull up my women's event entries for the 01 in cricket during the weekend, and we had almost 100 women in both events.
Yeah.
And that's been the highest in years.
Yeah, I thought the women really turned out, and I was happy to see that. I mean, what I kind of don't get is why there aren't more women at other tournaments. Your tournament is kind of special in a lot of different ways, but you're talking about league participation being down in Philly. Vicki's talking about, trying to promote more tournament play through these one-day shoots and stuff like that. And I think, Vicki, you have something like that coming up. Is it in June?
My tournament?
Yeah.
Well, that's more of a fun charity shoot. It's not. It's a one-day tournament, but it's not like to qualify for something.
Okay, that was my segue into plugging your tournament.
Well, you should have stated.
There you go.
All right,
I think she just did, though, didn't
While we're on the subject.
That's the best plug I've ever heard in my entire life.
While we're on the subject, because one of the things that I think grows participation, And I specifically made a note to Mark. He's going to ask you guys, what have you done to increase participation? But one of the things I like
not
to see.
Anymore. You just asked him.
Well, no, I mean, no, because specifically, the one thing because remember, we got a board for the Beacon of Hope last year, and we're on the hook for another one, by the way.
Oh, are we?
I said we'd do it.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
You said we'd do it.
Yeah, I said we did. I agreed to that.
So you owe me $11 billion for your half of the board.
Oh,
but anyway.
I'll just write you a check.
The idea of these single-day shoots that are, sure, attach them to a charity. We all want to be charitable and stuff. I think is one way of getting people out to play outside the normal league dart comfort zone. Because I think the more people do these one-day shoots and the more they kind of enjoy the format, enjoy the difference, right? The more likely they are to go to a tournament, somewhere down the road. So real quick, well, not real quick, you don't have to rush, but I want to. You all have like some sort of charity shoot coming on. So we'll start with you, Vicki, with the Beacon of Hope. Why don't you give us some of the details and the date on that?
Sure. It's our second annual charity dart.
Nice. I take that as a personal compliment. But okay, go ahead.
All right, it's June 21st, and it's at our local Eagles facility, and it's we have a mixed doubles, a mixed singles, women's singles, men's doubles, and women's doubles. And what's mix? Oh,
so you mean open? You said mixed singles.
Mixed singles.
Try it again. So what events do you have?
I just worked 12 hours.
Oh, I thought it was some other reason you were distracted, but I thought it was my jersey.
No. Yeah.
I like my jersey. Right.
She thinks you're coming to arrest her.
Okay, go ahead, Vicki. We're sorry.
All right. We have a little twist to this tournament. We have Callie West and Robin Curry coming to it, and we're actually raffling them off.
You're raffling off the Whisper Twins?
Yes,
I went in on that
for mixed doubles and for
doubles. Okay, that's different.
Yeah,
that was going to be news breaking. That was going to be like, hey, check it out. I think that's great.
That's awesome, though. That's a great idea.
And they're really great sports for doing that, and so it's going to be a fun day.
And that is the first day of spring, June 21st?
That's the second annual.
Right, because we did it. No.
Beginning part
the second annual.
Second annual.
Stress the word annual. Now, I'll tell you, if you want to increase participation, you might want to think about, retitling it the way she had it originally. You might get more guys anyway. Right. Okay, and then the Philly women, I don't know if it's Kay or Gail or Lauren. You guys have something coming up too?
Actually, it's not charity. This coming weekend is our Mr. and Mrs. Philadelphia finals. Throughout the year, we run shoots, and women qualify to shoot in the final. The winner of the year before automatically does not need to qualify. They're all automatically in the event.
And who were the winners last year? Was it Jim Newman and who?
No.
Scott Henning and Mary Jo Chesney.
Sorry, you guys cut out. Mary Jo Chesney for the women, and who's Mr. Philadelphia?
Scott Higgins.
Who?
Scott Henning.
Scott Henning. Okay. Is he related to Doug Henning? I mean, I don't even think I know him. Was he? Did he even play in the Chesney?
Yeah.
I hope he did.
He did it all by mirrors.
Okay. Well, that's good.
This shoot has been around since the late 70s. Mary Jo's won it about 21 times in that time period.
At what point do you not shrink wrap her inside her car on a hot day and let someone else win?
She won. I was on the phone with her earlier, and I asked her how. I knew it was a significant amount of years in a row that she won, and she remembers being 10, and then she had something to do with her mother, who was ill at the time, and she could not make the final. So I think it was 11. She thinks it was 10 years in a row that she's won it. So
wow, that's impressive.
Yeah,
that's impressive. We'll have to try to get her and Terry on the show at some point. I hope you convey the invitation to them for me.
I already did that.
Great. There's also while I'm at it, there's a couple of charity shoots coming up. I did not have time before the show because I was slacking off at the Cub game. And I got your flyers. I will put them up on the Dart Talk Facebook page. I didn't have time to integrate them into the show tonight. because you sent me 3 of them. So we'll get all those up. We'll get the Beacon of Hope flyer up. I couldn't put a Word document up on the screen here, Vicki, so sorry about that. But there's also this weekend in Aurora, there is a Darts for Kids where they're doing kind of the same thing Vicki's doing. They're going to auction off some pros.
Okay.
And I think that starts at 1 o'clock, I want to say, 2 o'clock. And then they're going to have a blind draw after that. So they have 2 events going. That's at Dart Brokers in Aurora this weekend. And also, we got a note. I know you don't like the Cubs, but you know what JDRF is, right?
Yes.
JD.
Juvenile
Diabetes Research Fund.
Research Foundation, yes.
Is it foundation or fund? Okay, it's one of those.
Either
2.
one.
Anyway, there's a shoot in, I think it's either in Georgia or South Carolina or something attached to that. We will put, and I'll try to get more information next week because that's the first weekend in May. Mm-hmm. We got a note, and I wanted to plug that, and we'll put that on the Dart Talk Facebook page as well. I'm convinced that these one-day shoots, the local one-day shoots, and I think Vicki's got a good idea where, the prizes are, to, accumulate some bucks so you can send these people to other tournaments, give them their entry fees to, the biggest local tournament around, something like that. Do something.
Right.
I think that is the way that you are going to try to rebuild the tournament population that we had, from what I hear, all the way through the late 70s and the 80s and probably all through the 90s. I don't know when Lucky Strike ended, but when the prize money went away and when travel expenses went up is when tournament participation started to plummet. But I think you can rebuild it once the league players start to see how much fun tournaments are.
Well, that's one of the big things,
right?
Is getting the league players to go out, because they're the ones that are obviously playing the darts, so they're the ones that need to be going to the tournaments. And if they can start out by going to local tournaments.
I mean, that's the one thing that, I've played league, you've played league. I played league for years. The one thing I could never relate to are league players that don't want to go to tournaments.
No, because
I just never got that.
You played the whole year of league knowing when that tournament was, so you knew when you wanted to be playing your best, and you were kind of gearing it towards that.
But these guys that are like, I'm not that good, I don't want to go, is sort of like,
right. Which is,
I'm not Mark Spitz, but I still like to go in the water and boogie board. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, you don't have to be Tiger Woods to enjoy a round of golf.
Exactly.
I mean, if you're not that, you're playing league darts. You're not the best player in the league, and you still play. Why not play a tournament too? That I never got that.
You're not playing against Tiger Woods when you're out on the golf course. So you're not playing against, Phil Taylor every time you go to a dart tournament. It's like, I don't know. I don't get it either.
Well, let's ask Gail and Kay, because I believe
we should take a break first.
Are we on break time already? Oh, jeez, we're gonna go long because I'm not letting them go until we cover some of this.
We're already going long.
Are we really?
Oh,
okay. All right, we're going to take a real quick break, and we'll be back for another segment. You're listening to Dart Talk Mystery Mark, Steve Ponce-Elman, Vicki Briggs, Paula Bushey, Lauren Waikal, Kay Brookes, and Gail Flaherty. I got almost all that right, but we'll be right back.
You are now and forevermore warned that you consume this show at your own risk. and that Dart Talk cannot be brought to justice in any court or by any government, including and not restricted to the grand spaghetti monster of the Triple 20.
Okay, Dart Talk, back to you. Back with you for the fourth quarter. Dart Talk brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts, and our guests, who hopefully are still with us. They're probably even more tired than they were before. We're talking about participation. We're talking about how do we get more people playing? How do we get more people playing league? How do we get more people out to tournaments? What I want to ask you one by one is, what have you tried in, like, say, the last year to increase participation? And did it work? Did it not work? Could you not tell if it worked? Just give us like a quick report. Paula, let's start with you. Aside from the gloriously successful Virginia Beach Classic, what have you done locally to increase women's participation?
Well, this goes for both women and men. But one thing that we started about 4 or 5 years ago, in fact, it was my assistant, Lou Nelson, who you're very familiar with.
Lou, my man.
Yes, Lou. So he started. Oops. Sorry.
Whoops.
He started doing qualifiers because he was ADO rep at the time. He started doing qualifiers for the Classic, and they started out as, it was pretty much like King of the Hill at each bar, and the bar paid completely for the sponsorship. So the first year we had about 10 people. This year TADA had sponsored about 52 people, completely sponsored for the Classic. Now we do it a little different this year. When they play it, they do it as kind of like a round robin. And they, the winner gets qualified. Each person pays $10 to get in, but $10 to play every event at our tournament definitely isn't too bad. So that works very well in our area. More people come out for the Classic qualifiers than they do for an ADO qualifier.
Yeah, well, I think it's a little less daunting to play a local tournament than it is to, the first time somebody asked me to play an ADO qualifier, I was like, why should I? I have no chance of, like, winning. I've been playing for, like, 4 months or something. So, yeah, I could see that happening. Vicki, I know we talked offline a little bit about some of the things that you've been doing up there. It sounds a little bit similar.
Yes. Again, we have a local dart league called Mill City, and they have regular qualifiers for the regional, which is great. You pay $10 and you play a round robin, and hopefully you win that $110 to play in the regional. And I've actually seen some new women come to the regional, so that's definitely been a positive. And then again, like I said, I've seen qualifiers to get your entry fees paid into the bigger tournaments like the White Mountains and Port City.
And these are big tournaments that are in easy travel distance for. You're in Central Massachusetts or something like that, Western Massachusetts.
Yeah. So the New England area, those are the close tournaments.
Okay. Are you doing that anything special for women, or is that just more of a global effort there?
It's a global effort, but I think it's definitely been positive to women's darts. Like I said, I've seen different women come to the regionals that wouldn't necessarily go.
Okay, well, that's good. I know that in Chicago they've been having like a women's singles league. I don't know if that helps or not. I don't know how that helps bringing in new women.
I didn't know they were having that.
Well, I don't know if Jill's playing in something. It's all women. I mean, I'm not quite sure how that evolved, but I'm wondering if women playing women is better than women playing men if you're trying to grow participation. One of the things that I've never understood, I talked to somebody, oh God, it was like I'd been playing for like 3 years or something, and I mentioned something about a singles league, and they thought it was like, to meet people.
Okay.
Right? And it's like, no, it's single play.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. Like, I don't think our vocabulary, the nomenclature I think we use in darts could use some improvement.
Right.
And I'm kind of wondering if you want to get younger people playing, because it seems to me that like in the 70s and 80s there was less to do. You didn't have DVRs and cell phones and all this stuff. So
definitely,
I mean, it was more a matter of like the social aspect. I forget who was mentioning it. It might have been Lauren was talking about the social aspect, and that's one of the big attractions to league. Right, most of the leagues, they're not money leagues.
For sure.
You're going to play for a plaque or a jacket or something like that. But it seems to me that bringing people together and using darts as a medium, I in my mind, that's what it was like back then. Now that's what's happening, like when they have trivia night.
Sure.
At a bar, you start talking to the people at the table next to you, and if you go every week, maybe you get some relationships
people,
going,
right,
what have you. I'm not saying it should be like Match.com or something, but it strikes me that women, if we had more women playing and more young women playing, invariably we would get more young men playing, and that would be a good thing. We can't deal with youth leagues tonight, but it seems to me that, given the way America is, where, darts is a bar sport and everything, you got to be 21 to play. We need to start getting the 21, the 22, and the 23-year-olds and people just out of college and stuff, get them into it.
Right.
Because, I think the sport itself will sell itself. I think that there's a certain personality that, really likes the challenge of playing and the perfectionist in them, what have you. Different personalities seem to gravitate towards sports like darts.
That would be like the people you'd go for is the people that just got out of college, moving in, and looking for something to do.
Yeah, let me ask who's next. Lauren, have you tried to do anything? First, tell us what you've done, promotionally, and if you've done anything exclusively for women, and then if you've done anything exclusively for like 20-somethings.
So my goal as the person who's running social media for Old English is to promote darts, period. So I want to put information in front of everyone's face in terms of dart events, league happenings. I mean, in terms of supporting women, there are Miss Philly qualifiers throughout the year. Women of Philadelphia English Dart League also run an event to support the Miss Philly tournaments, and I promote that as well. I can't say that I target.
I think we're losing her. I think we're losing Lauren.
I think her phone's dying.
Okay.
My phone's dying?
Oh, or you're not talking to the microphone anymore.
You were kind of trailing off there, Lauren.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Okay. Is this better?
Much.
Okay. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Where should I start?
Let me ask you this. Gail and Kay were talking about the Miss Philadelphia, and it just so happened I had a quick meal with George Silverstone when I was in Virginia Beach, and he was talking very passionately about how we should have kind of like this, all these state teams playing each other and stuff like that, and it just occurred to me, what if you had a Miss America dart tournament where Miss Philly and Miss Mill City and Miss Virginia Beach all went to one tournament and played off to see who was Miss America? You think that would be people would be more inclined to play something like that? What you're basically talking about is a women's national champion, but
I think you should change the name of it. People are going to be thinking they're going to be playing in bikinis one round, and then the next round.
Well, it's okay if they think that, as long as they come to watch.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Then they're upset when they're not in the bikini round.
Just kind of spitballing this one, ladies. Thoughts?
I think it sounds awesome. However, we're also running events to improve sponsorship already. The U.S. is pretty big. Where would that event be, and how would it be sponsored?
Well, I don't know. The Mill City would probably, that tournament could be in, Vicki Briggs' basement where she plays Pam. I don't know. I don't know how that would. What's your record like against Pam, Vicki? Are you like 50-50, or is she getting you a little bit, or what?
We go up and down, but she definitely has the edge on me now. But don't tell her that.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure I won't just
Hopefully
immediately, like pull that little clip and send it to
Hopefully
her. I
she's
wouldn't
listening,
do that.
and then
yeah.
she'll already know.
She's working because
Well, she can listen tomorrow.
Well, that's true. She may too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could edit that out for a price.
There you go.
I don't. I'm curious if the women playing the women is somehow better than the women playing the men, as far as generating more enthusiasm and more participation among women. Is that complicated? Was that a convoluted question?
I think it's a good question.
What do you think about that, Gail?
I really like that idea, especially what you had just said about maybe taking the winner of Miss Philly and not so much doing it countrywide, but maybe in the Northeast section, and each year it'll be in a different location. And that's something that I would like to reach out to some of the other organizers locally in the Northeast region and maybe work on that to promote women darts. Again, it's going to fall back on most of the people that are going to be shooting in that, of course, are going to be our pro shooters because that's who's going to win it. But I really think that would be an incentive to maybe get some more women to come out. This is our this year for Miss Philly is our highest turnout in probably the last 8 years, and I think that stems from we had on Monday night we had 2 new teams of young girls, and they love it and they're talking to their friends, and I'm thinking in the summer maybe doing some kind of clinic at their bar and maybe getting some of more participation out and more teams involved. But other than that, to get participation up, we talk about it all the time. I talk about it on Thursday night. Of course, on Monday night, we'll be shooting another women's team, and a man will walk in and be like, women shoot darts, and of course, one of us will go up and talk to him, and by the end of the night, after we're done shooting, he's shooting against us, and we're beating him on the board. So it's,
teach him a lesson.
Well, there's a little ego there. Yeah, I think you got to take that ego right out of him and say, listen.
Yeah, but he most of them don't come in with the attitude, and again, it's a lot of the older dart shooters that still have that mentality that women shouldn't be. So there's some older gentlemen that think women shouldn't sit at a bar, let alone be in a bar.
Okay, well, we can kind of dismiss the
barefoot
the fringe.
in the kitchen.
We can we can dismiss the fringe element, for purposes of discussion. Who have we not heard from on that? Hey, Paula, what do you think of this whole Miss America, Miss Virginia Beach playing Miss Mill City, or what have you? You think there's any potential?
I think that's a great idea. We started the Virginia State tournament now about 10 years ago, and unfortunately, it was supposed to be a traveling team, but it's primarily been in Virginia Beach, and unfortunately, we don't get a lot of participation from people up in North Virginia, down from Richmond, and maybe as far as Fredericksburg, but that's it. But I know the girls in Virginia Beach would love it.
Well, maybe we can cook something up. I'll have to think about that. We got the Players Challenge Series going, and we did the draw for the second round matches. Mm-hmm. None of them have been scheduled yet. We got some serious logistic problems that we're going to have to iron out. But we talked about doing the Players Challenge Series next year and including women and Canadians. I'll have to think about this. If we could think of a good promotional angle, right, that would get more people playing, then I will get behind that. It's just a matter of coming up with the right formula.
Yeah.
Given all the stuff we have going. Where are we on time? We're already over, so we really don't have to
so
care.
It just depends on how long you feel like continuing this conversation.
Okay. Did everyone answer what you've done promotionally lately? Did I get Kay on that?
No, get Gail though next.
Steve, before we go, I just wanted to announce the It's a Woman's Thing dart tournament in Edgewater, Maryland. It's for the Susan G. Komen Cure. It's the weekend of May 3rd.
May 3rd. That's the one you were supposed to plug before.
I know. And
okay.
I went off. I did forget. I didn't forget about it, but it's ran by Robin Bishop, and it's the 20th anniversary this year.
Okay, and that's May 3rd in Edgewater, Maryland.
Yeah, and this is the first year because of the 20th anniversary. We're actually shooting on Saturday and Sunday. It's always been just Saturday, but we're there. We're going to do the whole weekend this year. And I do have the flyer, and I believe Lauren did send that to you.
Yeah, I will post that. I apologize. I didn't have enough time to get everything together before the show where we could like kind of put it up right now. But I will get that up on the Facebook page. I'll tweet that out so everybody gets it that listens to the show. And you people that are listening, to the audio, again, go to darttalk.us. Make sure you vote in our next poll, and then you could check our Facebook page for the flyers. And I'll put them on the website as soon as I figure out where to put them, because I like the idea of having these flyers in one place. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll put like a flyer page, upcoming tournaments, and we'll post everybody's flyers up there with the dates and stuff so people can find them. I can do that.
Do you guys take a break during the tournament to show the Kentucky Derby?
You were like so obsessed with that horse race. It takes 2 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't take that long.
A 2-minute horse race that you're talking about for a year. I am never going to understand that. My gosh.
They're having a dart tournament on Derby Day.
Yes.
So
you guys would really like to go to this shoot because they do what's called a Cabana Boys, and there's gentlemen dart shooters there that chalk matches and get us drinks, and there's Cabana Boy tickets that we purchase as shooters, and whenever they do something for us, we give them a ticket, and they get prizes at the end of the tournament.
Okay, now that is a promotional concept that I think can find some popularity.
Right.
So you're renting Cabana Boys to get your drinks and chalk your matches? It's kind of a rental thing. I believe they sell the tickets. I want to say they're like $1 a piece. Everything goes to charity. And for example, if say my chalker and I need a beer and he's chalking, and the match ends, I give him a ticket for chalking. I give him 2 tickets because he got me a beer. Right. Of course, I usually end up buying him a beer also. But
so you'll buy like 20 tickets at the beginning and then dole them out wherever you see necessary.
Correct.
What a fantastic concept.
I think there was one year I kind of like dropped my darts by accident towards the end of the evening, and one of them ran over and picked them up for me. So of course I'm like, oh, here, have a ticket, But the guys that are there are just awesome. I mean, it's really lots of fun. They dance around, and I think that the two of you would fit in perfect there.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure.
Right, you're going to get Mark to go to Maryland on Derby Day. You could forget all about it. Although I don't know how many tickets it would cost you if he missed the race. That would cost you like an entire roll of tickets.
Yeah.
I know. So you buy the tickets, the money goes to charity, and then you dole the tickets out to your community. I think that's a fantastic idea. Yeah. You guys do that every year? Robin came up with that?
Well, I don't run this shoot. Robin Bishop does, and she has a group of men and women that actually help her out. I don't know everybody's name. I've only been there about 7 times in the last 10 years. It's always a great tournament. They've always had Cabana Boys for the last that I know of for the last 10 years, if not longer. And the shoots all weekend are only $5 to shoot. $1 goes to the Susan G. Komen Cure. And the rest, of course, is for payouts, which most people donate back anyway. But
sounds great.
$5 for an event. It's all women. It's a wonderful, wonderful tournament.
That is one of the best concepts I've heard of. Promotionally, I think that's great.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
I mean, how many tickets would it cost to get Darren Young to chalk for you? I might carry some around just in case and tire him out for his next match. Hey, Darren, here's 2 tickets. Chalk some cricket. And then get in a point war with somebody.
Well, yeah, I guess the way you said it before, though, if somebody chalks for you, then you give them a ticket. Or do you give them a ticket and then they chalk for you? I mean, do they...
Usually it's at the end.
It's a volunteer thing, so it's like I could go get you a beer or I could chalk for you, but I might not get a ticket out of it.
Oh, that could lead to...
It's usually not, you're not given your ticket until you complete a task.
Right,
so,
right.
I believe, some professionals want the money in advance.
Yeah. Some Cabana Boys will not go for that.
if we get Darren or one of you guys there, you're definitely going to want your ticket beforehand, and I don't know if I'm going to give it beforehand.
I might negotiate. I might try to haggle with you. Like, you know what? It's a ticket and a half a leg.
Well, it's like if this leg goes to 550 points or over, I'm getting 2 tickets.
Right, if it's a 501 leg and it's over 18 darts, you owe me another ticket.
I do dole my tickets out. If it's a longer match, I do give more. It's not get, you don't have to give one ticket. You can, like, I can give somebody 5 tickets if they did an awesome job,
What a great concept.
Or if I kept them at the board way longer than they should have been.
Hey, Vicki Briggs, do you think that this would help raise money at the Beacon of Hope thing?
I love that idea. We might have to put that in the tournament next year.
Yeah. Why next year? You could still do it. I mean, just make
kinda
sure
have
if
a lot going
Sawyer
on
chalks,
now.
you give him less money than
All
Kurt.
you got to do is buy a roll of raffle
Yeah,
tickets.
just get some blank raffle tickets at Target or something. But I will set the prices for you. Like, it's 2 tickets for Kurt and a chalk, but only 1 for Sawyer. Let's get those 2 guys fighting with each other. I think that'd be funny.
Nice.
You can have so much fun with that.
Yeah.
That's just like a riot. Like this Buy a Pro thing in Aurora, which is this weekend. Just to give them another plug, because I said I would. The Buy a Pro, you bid on them, and then you play doubles with them. I'm thinking, stuff like that. You make these. You have, in my mind, there's 2 kinds of players. If you want to be really general, there's like the serious player and the recreational player. The recreational players come to have fun, so you need to make these tournaments fun. That's why, I'm always railing about all these events and stuff like that. You're just putting everybody to work, right? It's too much work. This sounds like fun, right? This sounds like, can you imagine a 4-person where the losing team had to go run around and chalk or something? I mean, I don't know. I just think that would make it a little more fun, more fun for everybody.
Right.
Right? I mean, how viral was that picture of Phil Taylor chalking? Right? Because in the PDC, if you lose, you have to chalk. And I mean, I guess the guy took the picture and they threw him out.
Did they?
Something like that.
Did they
That's
really?
what I heard. Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't know that they threw him out.
We're kind of running out of time, and I know we didn't get to everything, ladies. Once around the table, I'll call your name and then let me know what we missed. Okay, we'll start with you, Lauren, because you were kind of cutting out last time.
Oh, God.
Put her right on the spot.
I just want to say, like the Old English Facebook page, and
awesome. Okay.
I'm going to send you the official flyer for that Maryland shoot in May, because I sent you like a JPEG, but I'll send you the official flyer afterwards.
Okay, and I will post that as best I can. Who's next? How about you, Kay?
I think we pretty much hit a lot on the nose, and I think we got a lot accomplished.
Okay, awesome. Gail?
Well, I got the plug. It's a women's thing, so I'm pretty good. And Miss Philly this weekend, and look for the results on qcdl.com.
Okay, and then you can always email the results to darttalk@gmail.com. I'll put them in the ticker at the bottom. If we don't have time to read them off, at least we'll have them up there. So you guys, any tournament you guys go to, if you want us to cover the results, just have the tournament people email the results to darttalk@gmail.com, and we will take it from there. Paula, any last words?
I just want to say thanks to all the ladies that did come out to make this year such a success, and I've got a couple things up my sleeve for next year, so just keep your eyes open.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, when you have something to announce, by all means, come back and talk to us. We like talking to you anyway, but gives us a plausible excuse where your husband won't get suspicious that you're calling the show all the time. Although
plausible deniability.
It was nice. No, because her husband said they do kind of listen to it late at night. Like we do the DJ voice and everything, so they like our talk. Either that or it's like better than Sominex. I mean, I don't know. Over the counter. Okay, Vicki Briggs.
It drowns out his snoring.
Say that again?
It drowns out his snoring.
Oh, nice. Another use for Dirt Talk. Vicki, you get the last word.
Well, I just want to thank you guys for having us ladies on your show. I think it's a step in the right direction in promoting women's darts, and I just want to tell everybody to come out to our dart shoot on June 21st. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I wish I could make it. I'll try. It's a long walk from Chicago.
Well, we have people coming from North Carolina and Maryland.
They can just
have them swing by and pick me up. We'll have to do something. I mean, it would be nice if I could get Mark on the road and we could like hit some of these little tournaments. I think it'd be a gas. The Cabana Boy thing is like definitely that would just be hilarious.
Yeah.
I just think I would have such a great time. And the little tournaments, as a tournament player, you always want to go to the $20,000, big tournaments and where all the big guys are and everything. But, the little local tournaments like the, Blazing Saddles in Kentucky, I always have a fantastic time. I went a couple of times to the Midwest Summer Classic in like St. Charles, Missouri.
Yeah.
It was like in the local Eagles or, whatever, Kiwanis Hall, whatever the thing was.
Kiwani.
Always have a great time there. I mean, I used to like going to Cedar Rapids, a little shoot. They kind of went away, but the local tournaments are fun. I like those. So we'll have to try to get you to some of them.
We'll see what happens.
It's a little kind of a long commute to get to New England, but I don't know.
I've never been out there.
Or Maryland, for that matter.
Right.
I don't know. The other thing is, well, I don't know. We could talk about scheduling. We're going to have to go. I'm rambling on, and I'm kind of like vexed. So we'll have to wrap it up for tonight. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. You're welcome back at any time. Feel free to email the show if you want to come on and talk about something. We're happy to have you all.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Mark.
Oh, you're all very welcome. Okay, that's it for the show. We'll be back next week, Wednesday, our usual time, right?
You got it.
Just real quick, they had the first Darts Live Americas tour over the weekend, and I think Ram Guevara lost the final to Larry Butler.
Oh,
and I have the results, but I didn't have time to put them. This is actually last week's news crawl. If you want to beat Bill, you got to get your your entries in by 12 Eastern, 11 Central. Email them to darttalk@gmail.com. You need to pick the winner of every Premier League match tomorrow, and also take a guess at what the highest average will be among all the players. And I don't know if he changed, if you're winning more money or not. I'll have to look. I didn't have time to get to that. But just email your picks to darttalk@gmail.com. I have to get them by noon Central. Okay?
Correct.
You good on everything else?
I think so.
Okay, thanks again to the ladies for joining us, and we will Dart Talk to everyone next week. Everybody take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
How's that possible?